And we are live. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is in the world. Wherever you are in the world, rather. And welcome to another edition of Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. Our scene finds us within the set proper, in amongst the areas of the set protected by wards and spirit charms that keep the prying eyes of the public away. They avoid these areas at all costs. And honestly, it's the only saving grace for, well, the Scepter of the Green at the moment with the increased police presence. But currently, she is sitting amongst, or an individual is sitting amongst a rabble of Bonar, Garu, and kin. There are wrappers of egg McMuffins everywhere. The new Bonar Galliard may or may not have bought 200 egg McMuffins for the Sept this morning at some point. How she got that money, you ask? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But regardless, at the moment, she is sitting, waiting for a number of people to make introductions to, but she has heard that there might be certain things going on today. So she's not trying to be rather intrusive, but at the moment she's sitting there using a metal pick to tune strings of a banjo, and we'll start our scene.
Just I might as well start. So Leah at this point is, I don't know, she's actually kind of wandering around aimlessly, looking rather like clearly something is wrong. She's lost in thought. But she's just sort of looks a bit lost, even though she's been here like 1,000 times. And eventually at some point she'll probably lose track of what she's thinking, which she's done like a few times already. And eventually we'll kind of, and forgive me, I forgot what you said was in the area. Isn't it just sort of an open space?
It's kind of like the Cairn area proper, so it's pretty much in the Bonar shantytown.
She's not picky about that. She has a Bonar friend, at least one. So yeah, she'll kind of find some place to just sort of sit for a minute. She'll actually stop and just sort of sit on. We'll just say some sort of a big rock that might happen to be there. Why not? And she grabs her phone out to kind of glance through, see if anybody's messaged her while she's been sort of wandering. Whoever else would like to join us?
I think Ren's gonna hear about this Bonar gathering and come over to see what's up, because she's needs something to get her mind off of today. And so she comes stalking over. She's walking quickly and decisively, definitely what could be called a stalk. Over to see, like, her face is smiling, but her body is all wound up. Coming to see what's going on with the Bonars.
And so, Olaf.
The kills at this point all start at various points complaining of severe pain.
Olaf looks around to see if they've been eating things they shouldn't have, because he was there that night. What do I roll to figure it out? Unless you want to give it to me.
Yeah.
I believe it was aforestated that there are Egg McMuffin wrappers all over the place.
Alright, well, hold on. I didn't know anything about that, so if...
Basically, no Garu or kinfolk in the city are currently basically allowed to eat meat that they know for an absolute fact is not next to
All
the
right, if she had basically said, "Hey, I'm going to go out and get us all egg McMuffins," would they have said no meat?
Well,
They would have said, "Hell the fuck no! Why are you trying to kill us?"
do Egg McMuffins come with the sausage, or are they the ones that are just like
They
egg?
come with Canadian bacon of
Yeah.
death.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
Canadian bacon, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well then, no meats.
I used to work at McDonald's. I know this for a fact.
Okay, yeah.
So, question I
She
have for
totally
you,
ordered them without the bacon. It's fine. Shh.
with knowing that now, because I had no idea, it's not really anything I've seen. Can I get like a roll, or just basically saying if the kinfolk said no meat, can she have ordered them all with just the egg and the muffin?
Or is there just like a pile of Canadian bacon sitting there, like next to the wrappers?
On
That's so
fire.
gross.
Yeah, you can have brought a load of the one-tinge bacon onto the set if you want. I mean, it's worth pointing out McDonald's has a Pentax subsidiary, that is known to the bone gnawers.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
But O'Tolly's, which at the end of the day is McDonald's, is a Pentax subsidiary, and this is known to the bone gnawers.
I mean, she did have $600. She could have gone to some nicer place.
Yeah.
Picked up some mom and pop.
Sandwiches?
Just any just egg only or egg and cheese sandwich, really.
There are places you can go, like co-ops. I'm a big fan of co-ops, where you
Alright,
could have
so-
simply bought a large number of raw materials that these hard-working kinfolk can cook into food. It wouldn't be the first time that she'd forced a kinfolk to cook her meal for her.
At some point, alright, Dizzy would have bought food of some breakfast variety that didn't include meat. We'll say blueberry muffins. So there are blueberry muffin wrappers everywhere.
Okay.
Take my McMuffins away
So
from
I'm
me. They're just
I'm
fun
gonna
to say.
Before all the chaos, I'm going to say that Maeve is probably following in Olaf's wake, because she's not going to go meet the new person by herself, because too many shenanigans have happened lately, but she will totally follow the Den Daddy. And like as not, when she gets there, she'll kind of glance around and start picking up wrappers.
I was gonna say, Leah's still lost enough in thought that she realizes there's this bone gnawer bunch of people there, but she's just she's half watching, half paying attention to her phone, half trying not to think about other things. That's a lot of halves.
You definitely got too many halves going on there, but that's
Nah,
okay.
it's Leah. She can do it.
It's that kind of...
This is a bad math scene. That's what this is.
As we're sort of sitting there, like she'll begin to, as a couple of kinfolk are sitting there, sort of half talking with her, sort of half not. She starts to twang a few notes onto the banjo, which seems to get some approval from the Bonars, but we'll see how much. With a quick charisma performance. Okay, so yeah, 3 successes. That seems to be my glass ceiling these days. So yeah, she starts playing a nice twangy tune, kind of slow paced for the morning, well, early afternoon, and she's just kind of sitting there plucking strings in a melodic fashion.
Ren heads that way since she doesn't recognize this person, and she is totally in the mood for some fucking banjo music today. Absolutely. So she goes to sit nearby, curls herself up on the ground, finds something to lean against, and just sits to listen. She's not going to interrupt.
Olaf investigates. He's always vaguely suspicious of large amounts of food suddenly coming onto Sept.
Try.
Ding 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 ding.
And
Not
just
quite dueling
because
banjos.
she hasn't seen her before, let me do a quick check. Because this is the only way I have to check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. I have no idea how many successes it takes to recognize whether someone is Garu with Perception Primal Urge.
Damn it, Duncan.
It depends on how much rage they have. Because you can sense the rage within someone.
4 rage. I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, what's your willpower?
My willpower is 7.
Yeah. It's quite a fair bit higher. Yeah. You have no idea this person's Garu.
Okay. Well, then I am not going to do the flop, so there. I will, however, hang out kind of in the general area of somewhere around a step behind and a step to the side of Olaf.
At some point, one of the other Bonar, maybe Kin, picks up his guitar and does a blum 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 blum, and she just
God,
narrows her
no.
eyes before she responds in kind.
Wow, we're getting into cliches now.
Well, I don't think anybody could resist the urge.
This is true.
Yep.
So literally within about 10 minutes, there is just literally dueling banjos between a guitar and a banjo going on. And some of the kinfolk facetiously get up and begin to mountain man dance. Some of them actually do mountain man dance, but by the end of it, there's a nice little bit of laughing kin and Garu-like. And after it's done, Dizzy stands up and bows to some of the people that clap for her, and then takes a seat next to Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Maeve.
Ren actually stood up when Diddy did,
Oh.
and rose applauding as she finished. And when she's done bowing, Ren will be offering a hand.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're in a pretty veil protected area, or at least have a nice
Yes.
buffer of kinfolk around.
Yes.
So Ren offers, I'm Quiet Thoughts. I'm a half moon of the Children of Gaia. Metis.
I'm Dizzy. Gibbous Moon of Bonars.
You're very welcome. Looks like you're making friends already.
Well, that's what Bonars do, right?
That's what I've heard.
Smiles.
She'll glance back at whoever else is here, and is Leah visible?
Yeah, she's sitting on like a big rock that's probably close by. She just hasn't actually stood up or anything.
If she catches Leah's eye, she offers kind of a nod. But then she gets out of the way in case there's anyone else who wants to introduce themselves.
Leah will walk up and join the two. That's fine. She'll be like, "Hi, that was really cool."
Thank you.
And she'll offer a hand. I'm Leah.
Dizzy.
Nice to meet you.
Much obliged. I think. I don't know.
You don't know? Have I been that bad of an audience that you're not sure if it's good to meet me?
I don't know. It's been a really long night.
Yeah, and the day's just started. And she attempts sort of a fake little smile, like sort of more not fake so much as more of a sad little smile.
Ren tucks her hands in her pockets and changes the subject with a kind of apologetic glance at Leah.
Oh,
Where
Leah's
are you
not
from?
worried about it.
Where are you from, Dizzy?
originally Jonesville, down in southern neck of Virginia.
Are you here to stay or just passing through?
I suppose that depends on my boneheaded sister, wherever she ran off to. Or, well, I guess rolled herself off to. But she got herself into some trouble and now needs somebody to help pick up the slack, because, well, knife to the back will do that to you.
Ouch. Is she of the nation? Someone I might know?
Do you know somebody by the name of Penny?
Out of character. Is that someone that Ren should
She's
probably know?
she's a kinfolk. I don't think you probably know her. She's not very remarkable.
Yeah. You may have heard the odd story about a bone Nora kinfolk in a wheelchair, but there's a lot of bone Nora kinfolk around.
Okay. Ren just kind of shakes her head. Not accept the name.
Well, she decided she wanted to try and struggle and make something of herself, according to her little outburst back at home. And well, when she got up here, she found out that the city is a little bit more unforgiving than home, and she took a shank to the back of the spine, I guess, and now like her legs are numb from the waist down.
Oh God. That is actually really horrible.
Still manages to somehow get herself into trouble. I really don't know how. You kind of figure with more limited mobility, you'd slow down and from what you were like back home, but nope. Still manages to still get in trouble all the time.
I have to say, I kind of admire the spirit of her, even though I've never met her.
Yeah. She's alright. She's family. I love her. Sometimes I want to wring her neck, but
Oh, believe me, I know that feeling. I know that feeling so well.
she'll sort of glance over at the tattooed individual.
He looked distracted. He looked like he was on his phone and just frowning disapprovingly at literally everything he saw on that phone. Yeah, the amount of hate getting poured into that cell phone at the moment is palpable.
Dizzy reaches down, grabs something up out of a small cardboard box, and then just walks up to Olaf and sort of places a muffin in his line of sight.
Ren kind of lifts a hand and almost stops her, but then just stands back to watch. If Maeve is looking this way, she gives Maeve a little smile.
Maeve will perk up a bit. She's still kind of lingering about Olaf's shoulder.
Yeah, he doesn't look too happy that a muffin has obscured his view. He must be seeing something crazy on that cell phone.
Yeah,
What?
I don't know what's got you down, but usually a muffin makes me feel pretty good.
I have the equivalent of 8 fucking children. That's what has me down.
She'll place the
True.
muffin in his hand and pat him on the shoulder. Then you definitely need a muffin.
He needs, he needs like 8 muffins, actually. Give him about 8, he might be good.
I had roughly half of a deer this morning. I'll be all right. And he like swivels. It's a very interesting motion, the swiveling. I feel like it's a parental skill you just gain, where you seem to rotate in place until you detect the child in question, and ends up facing Mabe. Mabe, you being good?
Of course I'm being good.
Doing anything behind me?
And she'll kind of blink, but glance over to Dizzy, and assuming she manages to catch eye contact for even just a second, she'll very spontaneously be like, gee, I need to stretch type thing, and kind of stretch her arms up and loll her head back a bit. And essentially, it's the subtle baring throat in public gesture. And then she'll glance over to Olaf, searching for approval.
Olaf just kind of walks over and claps her on the shoulder, which is signal enough for her to cut that shit out. This is Mabe. She is one of my children. Very good girl, normally.
I don't see the resemblance, but okay.
Inherited.
Oh.
Ren is giving all of this a really weird look.
Yeah, Leah's watching this
Maeve
like, why don't we just say
sighs.
out loud? She's like, well, why are we not just explaining this? What? She's
Are we
not
in a veil protected area?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Leah's just kind of watching, just like, okay then, and not saying a word.
Well, if it's a veil protected area and there's confusion, Maeve's gonna be like, he's the den father.
Oh. I will make sure that you always have muffins if you ever want them.
I'm not a big fan of outside food under most circumstances. I've been living off of deer for like the last 2 weeks.
I can
Anyway, it don't matter that much to me. Now, young Mabe here, she is still a cub. You like eyeballs her. How close are you to not being a cub?
She kind of shrugs.
I mean, I know what you've been doing, and I approve. But you've almost learned pretty much fucking everything I have to teach you.
I've learned enough that I'm teaching the others.
Get not a cub soon.
I'm working on it.
All right, good.
Dizzy chuckles to herself at the word usage.
Actually, when he was looking at his phone, Leah was thinking thinky phone, but didn't say it out loud.
It seems that Olaf has probably been in Garutong so much for so much of his day lately that like regular English is just kind of flickering in and out for him.
She'll hold out her hand towards Olaf. Josephine Baker. People call me Dizzy. Omnar Gibbismoon.
Olaf reaches back and clasps her hand, and it's a pretty firm grip. Olaf Tryggvason, Fostern, Ahmedborn, Half Moon of the Fenrir.
Oh. Fenrir. No one met a handful of him.
Well, one ranger, one riot. Anyway.
I got introduced to a game that they called competitive bitch toss. Is that really a thing amongst your people?
I mean, I wouldn't say bitch toss, but yeah, we've thrown people at people before.
It was fun. I mean, well, parts of it I can remember. I only made it to like the third round, and then I hit a tree, and it got kind of fuzzy after that.
And Olaf laughs. Like this all seems like, right down to the obvious concussion, pretty funny to him.
I was told I had a good time, though.
Well, that is good. That is good. Let's see here. Other Fenrir on this sept. There's my cousin, contemplates the mercy, also a half moon, Adrian. There is Erik Skovgard, or Klieth Arun, and my sister Lily. Hey, Klieth Derch.
Yeah,
Also-
Leah kind of looks at him on that one. You have a sister here?
I have a lot of relatives. One of them happens to be my little sister.
But I met here.
I don't know why she was sent up here. I haven't had contact with my family in a while.
Oh, well, that's cool, though. I'm happy for you.
Olaf strokes his goatee. My sister, though I love her very much, is of a more traditional bent. You all may be soon experiencing what I like to call culture shock.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the warning, I guess.
Listening face.
He actually glances down at Mabe. You make sure none of them sass her.
Okay.
Seriously, she'll fuck you up. I'm not always around.
Does she have a deed name?
Dizzy?
Uh,
Oh, not me.
uh,
Oh, never mind.
I like that. It's a good
not,
deed name.
not that I remember, but she could always have earned one recently.
Okay. I'll make sure they know. Put a message on the fridge in both cabins.
Yeah, he raises his hand to a certain height. She's about yay tall. I don't know what color her hair is this month.
Mia grins at that.
Last time I saw her, she was kind of pale. We don't get a lot of sun for much of the year in Minnesota. And she is very yelly, very, very loud, all of the times. It is likely you will hear her before you see her, and when you see her, her method of greeting in a new place, I hope you are good at fisticuffs.
I imagine that will be a interesting surprise for her and everyone else.
You know what? If Eric is the first one to meet her, we'll be fine.
Any tips or pointers in case it happens to be like me or Quiet Thoughts over there or Leah?
Well, normally I'd say go for the balls, but in this case,
Oh God. The look on Leah's face at the idea of going for the balls, like.
yeah, Olaf used to hang around certain people a lot.
Yeah, I can tell.
In her case, the one thing that really throws her off her game is if you dodge a lot. She gets very mad that you're not just standing there and trading punches.
Okay, so dodge. I can do that.
Anyway, Josephine, right?
Well, yeah, but I only hear that when I've done something wrong, so I prefer to go by Dizzy, if that's alright, Rye.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. And Olaf, like, curiously looks around. Have you met the warder yet?
Not yet. I've been staying in one spot so that way, whenever he's available, I can go present myself to him. But the worm foe met me last night.
Alright, good.
Cleansed
Travis
me
Reyes.
and all that sort of stuff.
Good, great.
It's not like back at my
When
home sept where our worm foe insisted that he give me a bath too every time I came back.
Blank.
and
Yeah,
Olaf
Leah
just
looks creeped out, actually.
like Olaf was about to open his mouth to say something, he just fucking stares.
She's kind of like staring off, like contemplating it herself. She's just kind of like,
Uh,
you know,
I,
removed from my home for about 3 months now. That actually kind of seems a little fucked up in my head now.
And Leah's just nodding.
so before I try to fully comprehend what the fuck you just said to me, I'm gonna have to tell you that our warder is also very, very traditional, especially in his terms of reprisal for perceived slights. I would suggest you be extremely careful.
Is he Hamid born or Lupus born or Metis?
Lupus, as far as I
Okay,
know.
so a lot of belly, a lot of throat.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that. I'm Bonar. That's what
There's
we think.
enthusiastic head bobbing behind him, like, oh, sweet Jesus, yes. Enthusiastic.
Wait, shit, you're waiting for him here, and he looks at Mabe. Fucking run!
Blink! The eyes go wide
Fuck
for a
outta here,
second.
you don't-
Fucking, she takes off. She's like, suddenly, I need to be over there. Bye! Like, just straight takes off. It doesn't even matter. She just picks a fucking direction.
Oh, well, huh?
From the other direction comes the tall, well-built man in a trench coat, holding a small brown bag. Turns and looks impassively at the group in front of him.
Ren
Leah-
smiles.
Let's say Leah's looking down, actually. She's heard stories.
And everybody do the flop.
Dizzy will, upon seeing him and seeing Olaf's reaction, I'm guessing, she'll, lower herself down and sort of... She sort of gets down onto her knees before sort of rolling over onto one side, lifting up her chin, exposing her throat and her belly at the same time.
I'm going to guess at this point that all the kinfolk are going to be like, shit, and run off.
For all we know, the kin probably took off when Maeve did. They're like,
They-
fuck this shit, I'm out.
It was
Leah-
kind of like...
Leah's still
It's kinda like-
standing there, but being kin, I mentioned it now. She's still standing there, but she's looking down. She's not by any means meeting this man's eyes.
Most surviving kinfolk have a kind of horse sense that warns them off from dangerous predators.
What's Ren doing?
She doesn't flop, but she tips her head back to show her throat, and she's smiling a little bit. She likes teeth.
Teeth starts by staring at Ren.
Ren, get the fuck down!
Is that in the pack link, or does he say that out loud?
It's in the pack link. He doesn't talk out loud around teeth unless he absolutely has to.
Ren's eyebrows go up, and she goes down on her knees and offers her throat from that position.
He keeps looking.
At this point, Olaf's hand, if he can reach her at all, reaches up and drags her to the proper position.
There is a
Like-
grunt of approval from Teeth of Titanium at this.
I just have to check out of character straight out. When you say proper position, straight out on her back?
Yeah, he demands
Yep.
full floor.
Okay, thank you. Duly noted.
And he next turns to Leah.
Who is not looking in his eyes whatsoever.
But is stood up.
Yeah, she's kind of frozen at this point, actually. She's never met the guy. She's only heard stories.
I mean, okay. The others are all on their back.
Yeah,
Literally dragged Ren to the ground.
I was going to say upon seeing Ren, honestly, yeah, that makes total sense. She would have been like, okay, and kind of dropped. Why the hell not at this point? She's not used to dealing with this at all.
Oh my god, I just realized out of character this is like literally when Andy walks into a room in Toy Story.
Yeah, it pretty much is, yeah. Okay, so Leah's a little late on it because she kind of got stuck frozen there, kind of like, what do I do? What do I do? And it just lasted too long. And yeah, she'll follow suit like Ren.
And then Teeth turns to Dizzy on the floor.
Just laying there, got her eyes averted from his, waiting to be addressed.
Who are you?
Josephine Baker, deep name Dizzy, bone gnawer Galliard, born on 2 legs, formerly of... yeah, bear with me for just a second, Duncan. I had it up and then I closed it.
Mhm.
Why is it not here? Where did it go? Oh, there it is. I believe it's the Sept of Dandelion, or Dandelion Hill.
Okay.
Oh.
The one that
What did that
was
happen to?
repossessed after a certain camp was found to exist there, and then they were like, yeah, you guys gotta go. But yeah, I think it's a little too far. Um, Give me a second here. Yeah, the Dandelion Hill Sept. She was in that protectorate.
And why are you no longer in Dandelion Hill?
It's my sister, Raya. She came up here trying to make something of herself, and she ended up getting hurt. And so, while my mama didn't want to come up and get her, she had no qualms about me coming here to watch over her.
Do you do more than push a wheelchair?
Yes, Raya, I can perform well enough, at least for my own people, that I fulfill my auspice role, and I do like to tell a good tale. And on the battlefield, I'm not great, but I'm getting better than I was when I was a cub.
One hopes.
To be useful in the service of Gaia is my purpose.
Good. For I am teeth of titanium. Athra, ruin of the Glasswalkers. Born in the grace of Gaia on 4 legs.
It is an honor to meet you, Honored Raya.
In case the others have not informed you, should know that there is a high ban in place in this sept.
Is it the meat?
No, it is the fact we're in the middle of a city.
Oh, yes, sir.
There are police officers everywhere.
She nods. She doesn't say anything. She just nods.
Good. I will not accept an idiot endangering this sept. He looks around. There is only like one pigeon here, which greatly upsets him. And he tosses some small bit of feed at it before looking in his bag and finding it empty. I have business. He just turns around and walks off.
Olaf waits until Teeth is so far out of earshot, and just sensory perception. Olaf might be mistaken in this, given that Teeth has so many robot accoutrements that he's basically like half of the fucking Sears catalog.
Yeah.
But
Just
for
to
what he
clarify
can,
for Vinny, you can't see any of the mechanical bits at this point.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, Cyberdog gift. Sorry, continue.
no problem, buddy. But when he imagines that at least he's not getting sonarred for hatred, he gets up, looks around, looks at Dizzy. So for your edification. And then you can all wonder how he knows a word that big. The meat thing is a thing, yeah. But the high ban means you gotta be on 2 legs, looking all normal like, for homage anyway. when you're on the Tellurian side. As a side note, he really approves, and his approval mostly comes in things like not having your face cut open. That should be on 4 legs in the Umbra, which frankly I'm a fan of anyhow. And it's only now, perhaps, that Josephine can see like the 3 long scars across the left side of his face.
So, considering I don't have, and she'll point at that, I did good.
Yeah, considering that you have all your bits right now, you did good.
She sits up and smiles.
And Olaf breathes a sigh of relief because thankfully Mabe didn't pull the Mabe special, which is that she tries to escape yet hits teeth like square on. For once, this is not what happened. Another thing, in case you ever have to engage in petty bribery, he likes the birdseed for the pigeons, but he doesn't really always enjoy having it directly given to him. My personal hint is that you leave it in places he's gonna be. Then he just happens upon it and isn't insulted.
Birdseed. Got it.
Yeah, Leah's slowly making her way back to her feet, very much unsettled at this whole thing.
Alright, anyway. Pertinent business. Today we're going to watch some heavy shit go down in the mood. So, it's a mood. Be it the mood.
What's exactly going on?
Um,
I noticed that the wormfoe looked a little down last night.
As he should.
well, 2 people are going to duel to the death and a survivor gets exiled.
What
And
happened?
I lose the fucking arm.
She'll look over at Leah, sort of perplexed. What exactly happened?
A bunch of real nasty shit involving old grudges and fucking curses and shit.
Alright, well, that's part of the story, but that doesn't explain why there's what sounds to be like a ritualized execution going on, and then, well, might as well be an execution to disarm somebody in a literal sense and then send them on their way.
The 13th law was broken.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's only fair then, right?
I'm more a fan of just a point blank with a 9mm, but I'm not the one in charge of it.
Well, long and theatrical, drawn-out shit sometimes has its place, but I don't know. I don't know all the details, so I'm not gonna judge. Besides, that's your purview.
And thank you for respecting that. It's very refreshing to me.
My job's to make sure that everybody knows about it down the line, and that way, hopefully, somebody don't do it again.
And like Olaf's just sitting there in awe of someone just saying words that he knows but hasn't seen in a long time.
She just kind of looks at him. What?
I'm just so happy right now.
You don't want to give me a bath, do you? She,
No.
like, backs away slightly.
No. No.
Okay. Because that would be awkward.
Oh, what the fuck? And he like looks at Ren pleadingly, as he has in many social situations.
Ren is checked out. She was deep in thought before, and when the bath came up again, she has completely checked out. She's kneeling again, and she's just sitting there like not even staring off into space. She looks like she's trying to avoid Space's eye.
Dizzy is just very awkwardly going to take a bite out of the muffin that Olaf never ate.
Oh, Christ. She's,
So
yeah.
she'll look over at Leah. You were a little slow on the. Well, you and Quiet Thoughts were a little slow on the draw there with teeth.
I've only heard of him. I've never seen him before. It was kind of
Well,
threw me off.
any Garu worth their weight would be, down on the ground quickly.
I guess I froze. I don't know.
Ren drags her eyes back to Dizzy and gives her kind of a puzzled look.
What? Just look at Ren.
That's not normal behavior. A whole pack flopping, even in front of an elder. One at a time, maybe, but we look like a bunch of fish. Not wolves.
Well, generally speaking, I've learned a few things in my time. One is when everybody runs, you run in the same direction. When the guy that takes care of the still, and when you call him in and it's about ready to blow and he starts running, you keep pace with him. And when a guy like that walks up and everybody drops to the ground, with I guess a reputation that he's got, maybe you should follow suit too.
I did.
But well, no, you kind of stood there.
Ren pulls herself to her feet and
All right.
dusts off her knees gently and turns and walks away.
And, God damn it.
Actually, I think Leah's going to kind of nod politely to Dizzy at that point and follow Ren.
Leaving Olaf just kind of quietly sitting there with his legs crossed. Traditionally speaking, things aren't always quite as theatrical, but Teethraya demands a certain way about folk, and is very forceful in demanding this,
Yeah,
as you well know.
I don't tend to ask questions.
God damn, that's perfect.
You did it, and you're higher ranked than me, so if I do something wrong, I can be like, well, he did it, and I figure that was a good thing because he's earned his space and leadership over me, at least.
Indeed, as I have reminded people, Throws speak and Fosterns listen. As for Leah over there, I don't know. Apparently that's what Teethraya wanted. In most cases, kinfolk are just kind of there as long as they aren't.
She'll just literally stare up at him. Her head kind of snaps directly at Olaf. She was kin?
Yes, the mate of the warrior, actually.
Mate of teeth.
Made of the worm.
Oh, sorry. The wormful. Bob the player fucks that up all the time. Olaf probably had too many concussions. Some of them from teeth.
I couldn't get to the button fast enough to correct you. I'm glad everyone else did.
Yeah.
You're aware of who the warder is.
Yeah. Yeah, Olaf is acutely aware of who the warder is. Bob just screws up those
All
two
right.
words sometimes. So,
Dizzy's
Wormfo,
face
very sorry.
Dizzy's face kind of takes on a look of bewilderment and annoyance. Why would a kinfolk stay?
It depends on the attitude of the sept. In my sept, for instance, well, Hamid kin acted like Hunts would if they're trying to be respectful, and Lupus kin, well, they sensed things and acted accordingly with their pure instincts. Now, it's not unnatural, say, for a Homid-born kin to just kind of act like, well, a Homid, and stand off to the side and keep their head bowed and be very, very quiet unless they are addressed. The Sept of the Green, more liberal about certain things. That's just what Tithraya wanted, and eventually she got the idea, but she does not have Wolf's heart.
Yeah, that's true. I guess when you have a disability like that.
Indeed. It's very clear that Olaf views not being able to have like a wolf side as like a disability of sorts.
She'll hold up another muffin. Want one now?
No, like I said, I'm well fed on venison. Yeah, I prefer a more meaty diet.
Where's the cub? Where'd she go?
I send her right the fuck off. Tithraya has been very specific. Some of my cubs, who are not as wise as the rest, decided it would be a good idea to not only bother him, but critically offend him. And he told me that the next time he so much as sees one of my cubs, they are going to be permanently blinded.
So, where are those cubs that offended him? I mean, in how many different places are they?
Well, let's see.
It seems like she's kidding, or she's saying it sort of as a joke, but there's a hint of, no, really, like, where are all the parts?
Let's see. The one has a lot of different, how you say, bans placed upon him, and has been very thoroughly throated. And I think there's something going on with his back, like a divot or something. That one wasn't me. The other is currently making fun use of a pair of crutches. And so far they're both alive, though because of the first one, we are going on a journey to I guess quiet for a second. Wolf home.
You know, if you wanted to actually just, like, beat a guy, you could, or kill someone, you know, you could just stab him.
I thought about it, but eh. He kind of shrugs his shoulders.
Well, I guess it is what it is, isn't it? You know, if you want, and she'll pick up her banjo and she'll knock on the back of it, which seems to be a little bit reinforced. My mama used to use this when I did stupid stuff. Right on the back of the head. She'll point behind her ponytail, like right back here.
When I can actively seek out my sister again, I'm just going to start sicking her on the problem children.
And as those summoned, since she's been just kind of after running her little sneaky errand, she has returned in Lupus and chilled in the Umbra, peeking through the gauntlet here and there to make sure that Teeth is in fact quite gone. And considering they're in a veil protected area, she'll finally shift back to Hamid and slip through the gauntlet and pop out probably, well, essentially off to Olaf's side, but at a point where both of them should be able to see her doing so no one gets startled. So Maeve just kind of sidesteps back into the group and looks very pleased with herself.
Hi. Welcome back.
Hi! Thank you.
So, you skittered off like a cockroach in the kitchen when the light turned on?
Oh, yeah. I
That was-
have run into Teeth Raya twice, and the second time it was very nearly literally. I have always done my best to be extremely polite, but it was very clear that he was not amused to see us. And after what the other two did, yeah, I'm not going anywhere near that.
Well, you know, no one would want your little green eyes torn out of your head, I suppose.
Nope.
Mabe's one of the ones I'm actually quite happy with the majority of the time.
'Cause you don't do stupid shit?
Not.
She avoids it, and I think the couple of times she did something extremely foolhardy, even I found the reasons to be sympathetic.
I try only to do things I'm not supposed to do if it's for a very good reason and I'm very sure I won't get hurt.
That's a slippery slope if I've ever heard one.
She has been roundly punished, but her former actions did pretty much save us all. I felt in light of her service to the Sept, some leniency was required.
And you're still a cub?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm getting to where my right will be soon. Like I said, I've gotten fairly good, I think, and I have started teaching the other cubs.
She's
Nice.
at that phase.
She's become a student teacher like an intern.
Mhm. That she has.
She'll sit down and take the banjo and put it across her lap and just sort of mindlessly like pluck at a string here and there. So, either of you want to tell me exactly what's going on with this whole clav duel thing going on?
Yes. All right. So, our former mistress of challenge, she was harsh in her ways. Also, Shadow Lord.
There's a certain look of, oh, here we go.
Well, my beta, Xavier, he disapproved of Shadow Lords and, well, people who went about as she did. So what he decided to do was cast some sort of, I'm not even sure what, I think he called it a hex upon her, made her very ill. This hex was a disease. It seems to have contained worm taint of some sort. Now, Victoria,
She just stares at him blankly and she blinks a few times, like trying to click things in her head.
oh no, it gets worse. Victoria Raya was somewhat popular with the kinfolk because of her stance on any harm done to them. At least out of turn type harm.
Well, unless it's got it coming, you really shouldn't put your hands on a kinfolk, but they
Mm-hmm.
also need to remember their place.
That's another can of worms. Now, a few of the kin, the disease went to them, shit happened, people died. Still a problem. So far
Sounds to
we've
me
got
like
it under control, but
sounds like they kind of needed a good case of burning at the stake.
what
I mean,
followed was something of a mess.
because honestly,
She
like, you got kinfolk killed. Like, we only got so many of those.
yeah, well, Victoria Raya, for her part, wandered into the Cairn heart with this disease in her, worm taint inside of her, essentially. She was desperate, went to our Master of Right for help.
And
You can see where I'm going with this.
so, essentially, two Garu, and you've got breaking the third tenet of litany, more or less.
13th.
Or, yeah, 13th, sorry.
Yes. And I was there to judge the initial hearing. it got sent up the chain, and that's how you end up with this clave duel and exile for the survivor with one arm amputated.
Sounds like to me like whoever wins should just be put out of their misery the second they step off Sept.
Like I said, I am a fan in cases of Cairn violations of just a point blank bullet in the brain. Very quick, very decisive. But I am not the final ruling body decides on these things.
Well, sounds like justice has been served here. I mean, kind of sucks, but, you know, rules is rules, and when you break them, you gotta have a certain amount of accountability for it. You don't, everything just goes into chaos, and then people doing whatever the hell they want, and then before you know it, you have friggin' uncle trying to give you a bath every time you come back into the Sept.
I have no idea what that's about, and it bears investigation, but not my sept.
Dandelion Hills has a history of odd practices.
Whereabouts
I
is
don't
this
know.
place?
It's deep in the Appalachians. We were part of the Protectorate. I'd only been to the set proper a couple of times when I was a kid. But, yeah, I don't know how much you know about Dandelion Hills.
I really don't. In fact, before you said anything, I had no fucking clue. If you were to ask me about Bloodfist, I could tell you about Bloodfist, but Bonar things, I don't know so much.
Well, let's just say that, she, stops and thinks about how she's going to word it. Alright, let me count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were a number of individuals that live there proper that willingly broke the seventh tenet of the litany.
And he's trying to think about this, the number versus like what she just described to him. Well, around any time I've ever been taught the law, I think what you're describing is actually the very first one. And that is Garo shall not mate with Garo.
No, like, I think that you could abide to a point, at least, a breaking of that to a point, but, she'll just, look around, and then she'll pick up her notebook and sort of write, ye shall not eat the flesh on the paper, and then just hold it up to him.
Oh, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Probably why no one really blinked twice about the whole bathing all the cubs that came back into the Sept.
What the fucking... How... I don't even... It is not my sept. It is not my sept.
Meh.
Anyhow, while I did give my cubs more or less the day off, I should go check on them or something. And he gets up.
She'll look at Maeve, offer out a muffin.
Ooh, muffin.
Well,
Yeah, Maeve will accept the muffin happily and look very chipper about it.
can I borrow your cub?
Blink?
Looks at Olaf.
And he just like looks at her like, why? What use do you have of this cub?
Show me around?
You know what? We can both do that.
Oh, alright. Well, then I'll come with.
And Olaf nods, and at that point, I mean, whether or not he has to go to the Umbra or the Tellurian, he'll show Dizzy what's what.
Dizzy will happily tote along.
Yep. And Maeve will be also making a point of making sure proper detours are made to see the various shrines, etc.
Olaf is cool with that.
And I think with that, we can call that a scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching.